The research question is the central question that a study investigates and answers. It is the question that defines what a research study is all about. This central question is generally referred to as research question or research problem, or in the faculty where I am currently working, we call it the problem statement. Although we call it a problem statement, we do ask our students to formulate it in a question form. When formulating this central research question, we need to take into account a few considerations. First, for the purpose of most applied business research and social scientific studies, the central RQ is a question that will eventually be answered through the collection and analysis of primary empirical data. This means the RQ is not supposed to be a lit review question. That is, if your central RQ can be perfectly answered just by reading textbooks and articles, then there is little point in conducting primary data research. Second, the central RQ is not supposed to be directly geared towards solving a practical problem. So it is not supposed to be a how-to type question, such as how to increase employee satisfaction or how to decrease guest complaints. Such how-to type questions are more in line with how one should formulate their research aim and purpose, but they're not good RQs. Surely, the findings of the study can be used to tackle such practical or managerial issues. In other words, the findings of the study would have practical implications for solving real-world problems, but the RQ itself is usually not formulated in such a way. It is usually formulated in a way that makes it possible for the researcher to investigate it and to answer it through collecting and analyzing empirical data. You might want to check out my video explaining the differences among research aim, research objective, and research question for a little bit more explanations on this issue. Third, generally speaking, the RQ should be about one thing. That is, this central question should indicate a clear scope for the study, and it should not be hugely complex in the form of a compound question with several different parts. If you feel your RQ should be a two-parter question or a three-parter question, then I would say you probably should design 2 or 3 interrelated studies instead of squeezing all of them into one hugely complex study. And this is particularly the case for a bachelor's dissertation. Alright, now let's take a look at a few sample RQs. We will look at an exploratory RQ, a descriptive RQ, a relational RQ, and a causal RQ. An exploratory RQ obviously aims to explore, and it could be something like this. What are the main factors that contribute to whistleblowers' decision to voice towards external authorities? In this example, the researcher has little knowledge and few ideas regarding what might trigger someone to whistleblow, and the researcher would need to explore the topic either through literature or through exploratory data collection analysis in order to let ideas surface so that some potential factors may be identified through this process of exploration. A descriptive RQ aims to describe something with a relatively high degree of accuracy and precision. An example may be, what is the current level of employee satisfaction in this company? In this example, the researcher would need to measure and describe employee satisfaction and possibly its subdimensions among staff of this company in a way that is as accurate as possible. A relational RQ would focus on the relationship between or amongst variables. For instance, what is the relationship between student RQ and dissertation score? In this example, the researcher would need to measure 2 variables among students, one variable being IQ and the other variable being dissertation score, so that the relationship between the 2 variables can be calculated. A causal RQ would focus on how one thing causes something else to occur or change. For instance, how does salary influence employee satisfaction? Or how does room temperature influence student performance in exams? In these examples, it is not enough that the researcher identifies the correlation between the 2 variables. There is also the need to establish, at least to a reasonable extent, causality, which would typically involve experimental designs or longitudinal research. Alright, so these are the main considerations we need to take into account when formulating RQs. Hope this video is somewhat useful. I will link 2 other videos here. One is the video in which I briefly explain the differences among research aim, research objective, and research question, and the other video is regarding research typology, so what is exploratory, descriptive, and causal research. Thanks for watching.